Great. Honoured
yeah, I thought, as Steve said, honoured. I mean, you know, how many bands, people generally in the great population of the UK get a plaque on the wall
15
commemorating their, a gig that they did 30 odd years ago. I think that's a fantastic honour, and thank you very much.
You know, I think it's about being part of London. You know, we're all Londoners, and we're now part of the fabric. We're on the architecture. You know, we're in the street. It'll be there hopefully after we're long gone. So that's a huge honour from.
Let's hope that's a while.
Yeah.
Good memories, good memories. I mean, I remember the gig really well. Hot, sweaty, 250 people looking like Robin Hood, a bit like that. And, and it was a fantastic gig. It was a great time in London, very exciting.
It's more glamorous now, though. I mean, they've sorted the decor out a bit. It was quite seedy and decadent back then.
I think we felt at the time, even though we were just mostly, just young, poor kids, students, whatever it was, everyone felt they were doing something that was quite important, that was going to get a lot of attention, that was very, very creative. And they didn't feel that it was just about the band. It wasn't like the Underground Club, which was about, Pink Floyd, and it was very much about psychedelic music. It was about, kids who wanted to make changes in graphics, in video, in doing costume design, clothes design, and a lot of famous names came out of this one little venue on a Tuesday night.
I mean, interesting. I mean, it was people making such a fashion statement that inevitably attracted national press, and of course us being the band that were kind of part of that whole movement, alienated the music press, but the national press loved us. I mean, how dandy did we look?
I think all of them really wish they were in a band, because it's still more fun than making hats or drawing stuff.
Yeah. But it was I remember that gig quite well, that first night here, and it was quite a make or break moment for us as well. It was quite nervous getting up there for the first time playing downstairs, in front of that crowd. Because, if it had gone wrong and they didn't like us, that would have been time to move on, yeah. So it was quite a make or break moment for the band.
Yeah, and it was a really elitist, audience that were, of kids who were very particular about what they liked and how it should be, and certainly what they didn't like. They knew that. So to be embraced by them, I think, and also there was a great deal of vanity in this club. For anyone to be looking at someone else on a stage took a great deal of effort, and especially people like George O'Dowd, who was the hat check girl here in this building.
Well, Rusty Egan really sort of helped to shape the sound of the 80s by the songs that he was playing here. He'd been to Berlin. With actually Robert Elms and some other people. Robert came up with a name. He suggested the name Spandau Ballet, and on the same trip Rusty Egan brought back some imports from German krautrock, really, Kraftwerk and all that kind of stuff, and spanned them here. And that, we picked up on that immediately, and the songs that we were doing there, and Gary was writing songs with maybe 4 on the floor in mind, as opposed to like the usual rock backing track, if you like. And yeah, rest is history.
But Rusty was the first time I'd ever heard electronic drums. Remember, he used to play over the top of the records.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
I think he added another layer. I think the strength of this band has always been our musical influences have been a little wide in that, we weren't all looking down the same track. So some people a bit more rock, some people a bit more soul. I'd been listening to Can for a long while, and then suddenly you come here and you hear, that sort of stuff. It's like, oh, interesting, It tied it together. I think B-52 is the first song I ever heard played here.
But certainly when we bought, what was it, CS10, Yamaha CS10? Yeah. We had it on HP.
That's
a higher purchase for those who don't know, yeah. And that was then a big influence on your songwriting and just the way the band started to develop. We were getting very influenced by that. Yeah. Systems of Romance, great album by Ultravox. I mean, what an amazing band.
The synthesizer was kind of the middle of the sound. It was kind of dictating what everyone else played.
But we were very eclectic. There was that mixture of I think what really inspired most people of our generation was probably Ziggy Stardust, Starman on Top of the Pops, how Bowie was a chance to be outrageous. My parents thought it was disgusting, hated Bowie at that point. And then we went through punk, we went through soul and dance and all the sort of great black dance imports that were coming in from America at the time. And I think we had a sort of affiliation with soul boys and mods, you know, kids, working class kids who like looking good and spending a lot of money and all their money on clothes. What we had left after Space Invaders. And then
this country's always been like that, you know. It's always had that association with music and fashion. And for me, the
Mashing,
80s
that's what we call it.
was the last decade where those two were married together. I mean, it sort of hit the 90s, and it's you know, what's shocking anymore, what's fashionable anymore. It's changed a lot.
There's a great map though with these plaques now, you know, that's building up. You know, there's one above the Two Eyes in, you know, where rock and roll started in Soho. There's one above the Marquee, you know, and I'm sure you can name a few more. But PRS, it's a great job that PRS
That's
are doing.
good, yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.